What up, tribe? Dan here with Original Goat. Gonna go through a few things, show you guys some tips and tricks with the AD-15, show you some custom work that we're doing for customers and stuff that we debuted at Blade Show 2024 in Atlanta. A lot of you gave us quite a bit of rave reviews on it. You liked what we did on a prototype, so we offer it now. So I'm gonna show you how to easily put together an AD-15 with our bearing package and bearing kit and everything, and go through some steps and everything, and show you some tricks and things to avoid so you don't run into trouble, because there are a few things that will get you on this knife. So to begin, I got two lock bars here, just showing you guys that we have the stock lock bar that's like an anodized OD green that comes standard on the knife and everything. So what we do in this package is, a lot of people like what we did, have everything matched with the scales and the lock bar. So what we've done is we've taken the lock bar and we've blasted the coating off and got it down back to the aluminum finish, okay? And then what we do is we take our scales with it and we do the same type of blasting finish. As you can see, the one side is very shiny underneath and everything, but on this side, it's got a little bit of a dull finish. Perfectly matches the lock bar and everything here, as you guys can see. Okay, so it's a little thing that we do. We'll be offering on the website here in the future and stuff. If you guys are interested in it now, you can always email us and we can send your knife in. We can take care of it, or you can purchase a knife from us and we do it all in-house and send it to you all good to go. Now, to get moving forward with the assembly of an AD-15, first off, try to have a little plastic pry bar so it doesn't do no damage and everything. I think I got this out of a phone kit or something. I use this. I have a Torx bit T10 for the pivots, and I have a Torx bit T8 for the pocket clip screws. In the kit we send you, you'll have a set of scales. You'll also have the skiff washer kit. It's got the two hardened washers and the skiff bearings in it. And then we send you pocket clip screws with a T8 head on them. To begin, we are going to take the right side scale, okay, and we're going to put our pivots through first. One key thing that everybody needs to pay attention to is on the pivots, there's actually one that's slightly longer and one that's a little bit shorter, okay? Some of you can stand them next to each other and you can see, of course my fat fingers are getting in the way, but another trick that you can do is you can put both of them on each shoulder, and then you can see there's gap right there showing through. That means this one's longer and this one's shorter. The longer one needs to always go in the back, shorter one goes in the front. We've got the bearings, so you want it to tighten down on the bearings. The back is longer because we don't want the whole lock bar and everything, when you tighten down, to lock everything down, so the spring and the functionality of the lock bar work. I always, on our scales, put the D shapes in front. So just remember, both pivots do have D shaped. You can see. I'm gonna put these through first, okay? And then I'm gonna set our scale flat on the table here. Now I'm gonna take our skiff bearing kit here, dump out the washers and the bearings. I'm gonna drop a washer on first, hardened washer. It drops into an inner pocket we have machined just for the washer. Now I'm gonna take a skiff bearing and drop it right on. I always put just a couple drops of KPL. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop on the blade first here. Okay. Now I'm going to take the lock bar. I'm going to drop it through the pivot, and then I'm going to put the lock bar in. Okay. Now that that's assembled, I'm going to take the lanyard collar that drops into the hole. On the other side of the scale, we're going to be dropping it into that hole so it rests in there. So we'll do that first. Got it dropped in there. Now I'm going to take the spring and I'm going to press it in there, and that's where I use my little pry tool. Now some of you guys are cutting a ring off these springs. If you get a set of our bearing scales and everything like that, I would advise you not to do that first. First assemble it, check it out with the bearings, because the bearings instead of washers on this knife make a huge difference on how the action and functionality works. And it makes it even better, I believe. But if you still think it's too much tension, you can cut that ring off. Some of you guys know what to do about that. Me, I keep it stock. I'll set the spring in here, put my finger over it, and I take the pry bar and I just compress the spring and pop it in there. Just like that. So now that's all the way in. Check the lock bar, make sure it's pressed against the scales. The bushing is in and it's slightly cockeyed because of the spring tension. But I'm going to show you a couple tricks here that make it real simple when you put this next scale on. First off, we're going to put a couple drops of oil. We just want a little surface tension for our washer. Drop the washer on, you can move it around a little bit. Now we got surface tension with the washer. When you go to put the scale on, the washer's not going to fall off. See, doesn't drop out. Okay. So we're going to drop our other bearing, skiff bearing on the other side there. A couple drops of oil on it. Now here's the real trick to it all, okay? I'm showing you above this knife right now just to show you what I'm going to do, because there's very little movement that's going to happen here. But I'm going to drop this through the back pivot, okay? I'm putting it on the pivot first. I'm keeping it slightly cocked. I'm just showing you exaggeration, but I'm going to have the scale slightly cocked. I'm going to move it until I feel this fall into the hole, okay? When it locks in, the scale will still be slightly off from lining up with the pivot, and I'll show you, okay? Then, once you got that all locked in, you're just gonna have to engage the spring and turn it a little bit, and it'll all drop on. But the trick is you have to get this in here first, and then you've got it all spring tension. So I'm gonna drop it on right now. Keep my finger there. And then I'm just gonna move this around until I feel it drop into that hole. Okay. Okay, now it should be dropped into that spring hole. I'm just going to turn the knife so you can see. See, there's like no gap now, so we're in there. Okay. And then you can see I'm still off, you know, probably a good 1/8 of an inch. So now that this is all in here, I keep my fingers on it to keep tension. I'm just going to move this downward and then push straight on. And now everything's in and it's together. Okay. You take both pivots and drop them on. The back one I will tighten down all the way, and then I'll just slightly back off. Front one, I just snug it down until I feel it gets snug. And I'll check the lock bar and see it drop and everything. And check the straightness and everything and see if I like the lock bar tension. Now I hold this like this, so when I try the lock bar tension, the back of the blade drops into my palm so you don't get cut. So some people can feel the tension. And this is where some people will cut the spring. Me, I like that tension. Just flick right out and drop right down. It's done. I like everything going on, the feel of it. Last thing to do is to put the pocket clip on. Alright, get all screws in there, and I just snug it up slightly. Because you can still move the clip around just a little bit. Maybe lock down, and then I'll lock her down. Pocket clip is on. Caps. It's all centered. Let me get that straight in the camera for you. I think looks good. It also looks all even too. So the lock bar scales with the satin finish on the blades and everything, the pivots, everything matches nicely. And she's done.